Hello guys, I'm reading you a story from Bob Hartman's book, The Rhyming Bible. And the story is called When My Fears Are Giant-Sized. It's about a boy called David, and some of you will already know this story. David was a shepherd looking after his sheep, protecting them from the wild animals using his sling and stones. His brothers were away fighting a war, trying to fight a battle against the Philistines, and the leader of the Philistines was a giant called Goliath. And so we take up the story here as David arrives at the battlefield with his brother's lunch. David took his brothers a lunch of cheese and bread. Soldiers on a battlefield, they needed to be fed. That's when he spied a giant foot and leg and arm and head, and heard the giant's challenge, and bravely stood and said, God, help me beat a lion. God, help me beat a bear. So when my fears are giant-sized, I'll trust that God is there. You cannot fight that giant, his frightened brothers cried. He'll squash you like an insect. He's more than twice your size. You're just a little shepherd boy. You should be terrified. But David knew that God would help, and that's why he replied, God, help me beat a lion. God, help me beat a bear. So when my fears are giant-sized, I'll trust that God is there. So David went and told the king, I'll take that giant's dare. Then have my armour, said the king. It's standing over there. When David tried it on, he found it much too hard to wear. A sling and stones is all I need, he said. Well, and a prayer. God, help me beat a lion. God, help me beat a bear. So when my fears are giant-sized, I'll trust that God is there. The giant looked at David. He growled and cursed and roared. You send this stick-sized boy against my spear and shield and sword? I'll beat him without trying. I'll feed him to the birds. But David reached inside his pouch where his 5 stones were stored. God, help me beat a lion. God, help me beat a bear. So when my fears are giant-sized, I'll trust that God is there. The giant rushed towards him, his face an angry red. David swung his sling and aimed straight for the giant's head. That small stone struck its target. The giant fell down dead. And as his brothers clapped and cheered, David simply said, God, help me beat a lion. God, help me beat a bear. So when my fears are giant-sized, I'll trust that God is there. That's the end of the story. God bless you all. Bye-bye.